The people of the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe, also known as people of the First Light, have lived in what's now known as Massachusetts and Rhode Island for more than 11,000 years. They are known for their hunting, fishing, and farming skills, and were living in established villages long before the Europeans arrived. European settlers arrived in Wampanoag territory in the 1600s. In 1620, the Wampanoag, led by Chief Massasoit, helped the Pilgrims of Plymouth Colony survive, leading to the first Thanksgiving. The Wampanoag helped the Pilgrims survive, teaching them local agriculture and fishing techniques. In return, the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag entered into a mutual defense alliance against rival tribes, a partnership that was beneficial for both groups. Then, more and more settlers arrived looking for land. The Wampanoag tried to maintain peace, but broken agreements and people taking advantage of their land threatened the native traditions and autonomy. Imagine having a small group of people to a dinner party each week, and with each new week, they bring 100 more people over. And then they leave the house a mess and a bunch of dirty dishes for you to clean up. It would get pretty annoying, right? So, in 1675, Chief Medicom, aka King Philip, the son of Chief Massasoit, organized a resistance with the Wampanoag and other tribes. This led to King Philip's War. This was a war against English settlers over land and resources. The war ended in a defeat for the native tribes, with severe consequences including the loss of many lives and further land control by the settlers. In August of 1676, Medicom was killed and the native resistance collapsed. Many native survivors were killed or captured or sold into slavery, while others fled or were forced onto reservations. In 1773, the Mashpee Wampanoag gained legal recognition as a self-governing community under Massachusetts law, although they continued to face control and limitations imposed by colonial authorities. In 1834, Massachusetts placed the Mashpee Wampanoag under state guardianship, restricting their autonomy and land rights. They faced a long period of legal battles and hardships during this time. In 1924, the U.S. Congress passed the Indian Citizenship Act, granting U.S. citizenship to all Native Americans, including the Mashpee Wampanoag. This law gave them the right to vote and access to other American civil rights, but many state laws continued to limit their freedoms. In 1974, the Mashpee Wampanoag filed a lawsuit to reclaim thousands of acres of ancestral land, claiming the land was taken without consent. In 1978, a trial began on Cape Cod to determine whether the Mashpee tribe met the legal definition of a tribe. If they did, they could sue for the return of land granted to them in 1685. With huge amounts of undeveloped land at stake, Mashpee's non-Indian residents hired lawyers. The defense argued that the Mashpee Wampanoag had intermarried with so many different groups over the years that they were no longer genetically the same people as the original Mashpee. The lawyers also claimed that the Mashpee had not maintained their traditions. After a 40-day trial, the judge declared that the Mashpee Wampanoag did not meet the legal definition of a tribe and therefore had no standing to sue. The case was dismissed. In 2007, the Mashpee Wampanoag received federal recognition as a Native American tribe, granting them certain rights and access to federal benefits. In 2015, the U.S. government under the Obama administration placed over 300 acres of land in trust for the Mashpee Wampanoag, giving the tribe greater control over their ancestral land. The tribe began planning to develop this land for housing, cultural activities, and economic development. Then, through the Mashpee Wampanoag Wetland Restoration Project, they brought new life to degraded wetlands that have suffered from pollution, land development, and climate change. Wetlands are some of the most important ecosystems on Earth. They act as natural water filters, improve water quality, and provide habitats for countless plant and animal species. Driven by the traditional knowledge and respect for the natural world, they took action to restore these wetlands. The restoration work included removing invasive species, replanting native plants, and improving water flow. Some of the ways they contributed to wetlands restoration and conservation were by collaborating with state and local agencies to restore the Mashpee River, by reducing pollution, restoring natural water flow, and protecting the rivers surrounding wetlands to support the traditional plant and animal species of the region. They also restored eelgrass beds, which are essential habitats for fish and other marine life. They have been involved in reducing nitrogen pollution from fertilizers, septic systems, and stormwater runoff by advocating for sustainable practices and alternative wastewater treatment systems. They partnered with the Nature Conservancy and Association to preserve Cape Cod to raise awareness about the ecological and cultural importance of the wetlands. They also work with local schools and organizations to teach them about environmental stewardship. Thanks to their efforts, the wetlands are thriving once again. Water quality has improved, benefiting fish and other aquatic life. The restored habitat also supports greater biodiversity, providing a safe haven for birds, insects, and native plants that all depend on a healthy wetland environment. But unfortunately, they still have been facing legal challenges related to land rights and federal recognition. In 2016, the federal court sided with the plaintiffs, ruling that the federal government did not have the authority to grant the land in trust status based on the 2009 Supreme Court decision in Carcieri versus Salazar. The Carcieri decision limited land in trust eligibility to tribes recognized before 1934, and the Mashpee Wampanoag were only recognized in 2007. This sounds like a bunch of BS to me. Anyway, in 2018, the U.S. Department of the Interior under the Trump administration reversed its decision, removing the Mashpee's land from trust. This was a devastating blow to the tribe as it effectively revoked their reservation status. In response, members of Congress introduced the Mashpee Reservation Reaffirmation Act to explicitly restore the tribe's land in trust status and counter the effects of the Carcieri ruling. Although it had bipartisan support, it faced delays and opposition and was never passed, leaving the tribe in a precarious legal position. The tribe continued to pursue lawsuits to maintain federal regulation of their lands, but these battles stretched into 2020 with decisions going back and forth. In June 2020, the Department of the Interior once again reaffirmed that the tribe's land would not be held in trust. However, later that year, a federal judge ruled that the Department of the Interior had to reevaluate its decision to remove the land from the trust status, opening a new path for the tribe to potentially regain the reservation. The prolonged legal battle has placed the Mashpee Wampanoag under significant financial strain as they have invested substantial resources in litigation and planning. Additionally, uncertainty around their land status has hindered the tribe's ability to pursue economic development projects critical for supporting tribal services. The Mashpee Wampanoag continue to fight for their rights to land sovereignty and cultural preservation. They remain active in efforts to protect their ancestral lands and maintain their cultural heritage for future generations. If you are interested in supporting the tribe, you can do that by donating to their legal fund, advocating for legislative support, raising awareness and educating others, engaging with the tribe on social media, signing and sharing petitions, and learning about Indigenous land rights. Let's help safeguard Indigenous rights and show that people stand in solidarity with their cause. Here's their website, mashpeewampanoagtribe-nsn.gov. Thanks to the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe for all the amazing things you've done and how you have helped the land get back to that healthy place that it once was.
If you know any other ways we can support the Mashpee Wampanoag or Indigenous people and tribes in general, please share in the comments.